Hi, welcome to Jamboard Online. So we're going to take a look today at how you can use Jamboard Online on a Chromebook, a Mac, a mobile device, or a Windows PC, and how you can use it in remote teaching. So Google Jamboard is a tool that can help make your remote teaching more interactive, and it can be used in either synchronous or asynchronous learning. So let's get started and take a look at some of the major features of Google Jamboard. So here we are in my Chrome browser. You're going to access Jamboard by typing in the URL jamboard.google.com. And once you get there, let's wait for it. It's going to open up your Google Jams. So you're going to see here that these are all the jams that either I have played with or implemented in my classrooms. And so you're going to see a list or collection of all your jams. So these jams stored on your Google Drive can be created by you or shared with you by others using Jamboard or the Jamboard app. And yes, there's an app for that. If you see you don't have a jam yet, that's okay. We can create a new one by clicking on this orange button or yellow, however you look at it, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. So when you hover on this, you're going to see new jam. Let's go ahead and click on that new jam button. So it opens up a brand new jam. You can notice up here in the top left-hand corner, it is untitled. So let's go ahead and title this. I'm going to title mine Jamboard, not Jamboard Demo. So now I've got my new jam. I have my Jamboard demo up in the top left-hand corner, and you can see that it's completely blank. So anything we do here can be shared with others, like we mentioned. So in order to share anything with anyone else, you can come up here to this blue share button, just like you would any kind of Google Doc, and you can click on that. So right now it's private only to me, but I can add someone right here within this sharing rights, and then I can come down here and I can even adjust the links. If you don't want only this person, say you're sharing it to your entire class, then what you're going to want to do is change the link to Frisco ISD. And even then you can change it. Maybe you want your class to be editors or specific students to be editors. You can go ahead and change that as well. I'm going to click done, and it brings me back to my jam. Okay. On my jam, I have a number of things that I can do. Now, right now, you'll notice that I am in my Chrome browser. You also have an app. If I get on my iPad, I'm going to have a slight different menu on my left-hand side. But for right now, and I can address that in a minute, but for right now, we're in our Chrome browser. And on the left-hand side, you'll see all these different tools. So let's go through and take a look at each one of these tools and what they do. So the first one is your pen. There's a little tiny arrow right here next to the word pen. If I select pen and click on it, now I have 4 different options of pens that I can use, and I have different colors. This very first one, maybe I want it to be this blue color, and I'm going to type my name. Now I am using a mouse right now, so stylus works great with this. So there's my name, and let's close that, Polly. If I want to come back here and I want to show the next pen, the marker, I'm going to click on the green one, and now I'm going to type Polly, and it looks almost the same. Let's go to the third one. This third one right here is going to be your highlighter. I'm going to highlight in red, so now I come back here and I can highlight. And the last one is going to be like your brush, your paintbrush, and so I'm going to do yellow. And again, you can see it's real faint. Okay? Hello. Okay, so that is my yellow paintbrush. So now you've seen all the different brushes. Going back over here, I'm going back to my, there we go. I'm going back to my select tool. Let me come back. I want to. Sorry, it's acting up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so the difference in the two, just so you can see I did the same color, is one is a little bit thinner and then the marker's a little bit thicker. So now I'm going to come down to my eraser tool. If I wrote something on here and I want to erase what I wrote, then I can come over here and I can erase any of this stuff that I put here that I'm like, that is not what I wanted. Let's go ahead and erase it. And right now, there's not a way to select it all and erase it all, but hopefully you're not erasing a full frame. If you are wanting to clear a full frame, you can just come up here to the top where it says clear the frame. I click that and it takes everything away. The next tool is our select tool. So the select tool, if I had anything on here, it would allow me to select it. The next one on the left-hand side is your sticky note. So a sticky note is probably my favorite piece of this. And these are like Post-it notes. So you can give it a color, you can save it, you can make it larger, smaller. So let's take a look at this. If I want, again, this blue color, and I'm going to type my name, and I'm going to save. So now you can see that it saved my sticky note. It looks just like a Post-it note. And when I click on it, I can move it anywhere I want. So you can have students give feedback via sticky notes. You can give feedback to students with sticky notes. You can have students put their thoughts in on sticky notes or maybe their questions. This is maybe a jam for questions. So the students can add to this as well. Any information that you want, you can throw on this sticky note. If you click the snowman, the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner of the sticky note, then you can go ahead and you can duplicate it. If I bring it over here, because now I want to make several columns, or I click on this and I say, you know what, I want to edit that. This one is going to be type your questions. Questions, okay? And I'm going to save that, and I'm going to move this over here. If I want to make this larger, I just pull on the corners, make it smaller, or maybe I want to rotate it a little bit. So you get to make that any color, rotation, size that you want. So our next one down here on the left-hand side, if I go down my tools, is add image. I have the option of adding an image from Google search. I can go into my Google Drive and pull them, or if I had photos up in the Google Cloud, I could pull those as well, or you can upload them from your device. So let's go ahead and do a Google search. And I'm going to do a Google search of a dog, because maybe I'm looking for a dog and I don't know what kind, but this one looks really cute. So I can select on that, hit select, and now it brings it into my jam. So maybe you want to ask your students, okay, go out there and pull in a picture of how you feel today or what you're feeling right now. Or in the future, give a picture that depicts something that you have as a goal. So your students can go in and pull this in. You can even ask your students, go out there and find an example of a mammal, and they can pull in a mammal. So there's different ways that you can use the pictures, but those are just some that you can ask your students to do. And then the last one down here is your laser pointer. And your laser pointer, if you want to point something out to your students, you can circle it and then it eventually goes away. Or you can point out, here's where I want you, and then it disappears. But it gets their attention very quickly. And then if I go back to my select tool, that's where I can move things around or make them larger or smaller. That kind of thing. And then if I want to go back to my pen to draw a connection, perhaps, I'm going to use red, and I want to connect this with that. Okay, so those are your tools on your left-hand side. I also want to come up here and show you background. If I click on my background, especially like for people that want lined paper, or say you're graphing, and so you want graph paper, you can come up here and do select backgrounds. If I want it blue, I can make it blue. I'm going to go back to white and keep it at white for the time being. So these are different ways that you can come in here. You can draw. Now, if I clear the frame, you can see it doesn't just clear what I wrote on the frame. It clears the entire frame. Does exactly what it says. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a sticky note on here. Polly's page or Polly's frame, however you want to say it. For the purpose of using the correct vocabulary, we'll call it Polly's frame. And we're going to make it orange. Okay. I can put that up in the top left-hand corner of this frame. I can come over here. This is my frame bar up at the top in the center. If I go to the right, it brings up a new frame. And now you can see here, I'm on 2 of 2. When I click the down arrow, it shows me that I have 2 frames. If I want to add another frame, I hit the plus and it brings in a 3rd frame. If I had a picture here and a picture here, but I forgot to put something in here, I can add it right in there. And now I've got a brand new frame right in there. So this was Polly's frame. I want to go right into frame 2. I'm going to click that. I'm going to up that little arrow to close it up so I can see my full frame. And now I'm going to add another sticky note, and this is going to be Sam's frame. And then I put that there. So, or Fram, however you want to say it. Oh, I made a mistake. I can come in here. I can edit it. I can add an E, save it. And now I've edited my sticky notes. I put it in the top left-hand corner, and now I go to the next frame and put my next student. That's one way to do it, but depending on how many students you have, you've got to think about your time, what works for you. If you made this open to anyone can edit and you share it with your students, then you can just ask your students, hey, come in here, create a new frame, and put your next sticky note on there so we know that's your frame. Okay, so that's one way to use frames. Okay, and again, this open in a Jamboard, let's not worry about that because Jamboard is a physical board that you would bring into your classroom, and we do not have the physical board, but that's okay. You don't need the physical board. As you can see right here, we're just simply using Jamboard through Google online. You also can access Jamboard if you go directly. If I click this right here, this Jamboard, it takes me right back to all of my jams. See, so these are all of my jams, but I also can go into Drive. Okay. And if I click New and I go down to More, I can then scroll down to Google Jamboard. So you can actually go through your Google Drive to get to Jamboard, or you can directly go to Jamboard by clicking in jamboard.google.com up in the URL. If you wanted to print out your jam, what you can do, the snowman is up in the top right-hand corner to the left of Share button. And if I were to click those 3 dots for more actions, I now have some options here for me. I can download it as a PDF, or I can just save one frame. So if I only wanted this frame, I would save it as an image, or I could download my whole jam session as a PDF. If I download the whole jam session as a PDF, you can see that it's like 1, and then you scroll, and it's the next frame, and you scroll, and this frame was empty. So it doesn't have anything on it, but that would have been my 3rd frame. So you have 2 options there that are really nice. So if you had a whole class of questions, and you don't necessarily have to print it out on paper, but if you wanted to print it to PDF or save it as a PDF so you would have everything, then you can do that very easily. So that is our Jamboard session. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We will certainly be willing to help you, and your DLC can also help you. Thank you.